It's 2:47 a.m. You're exhausted, genuinely, bone-deep exhausted, but your brain completely switched on. Here's the truth nobody tells you. This isn't a willpower problem. It's not a discipline problem. Your sleep system is miscalibrated, and that's completely fixable. This is the 7-day sleep reset protocol, a full operating system that rewires your circadian rhythm and teaches your brain how to fall asleep faster starting tonight. 3 phases: reset, rebuild, lock in. Stay with me through day 3 because that's exactly where most people quit, and it's also where everything changes. Let me ask you something honestly. How long has your sleep been broken? A few weeks? A few months? Maybe so long you've forgotten what genuinely rested even feels like. Here's what's actually happening inside your body. Your circadian rhythm, your internal 24-hour clock, runs on predictability. It needs consistent signals to know when to release melatonin, when to drop your core body temperature, and when to pull you into deep restorative sleep. But modern life absolutely destroys those signals. You wake up at 7 a.m. Monday, then 9:30 a.m. Saturday. You scroll your phone until midnight, flooding your retinas with blue light. You drink that extra coffee at 4 p.m. just to survive the afternoon. And every single one of those habits is sending your circadian clock a different time. Think of your circadian rhythm like a clock that's been dropped on the floor. The hands are spinning randomly. Days 1 and 2 aren't about sleep tips. They're about picking that clock up and setting it back to the right time. Without this phase, nothing else in this protocol works. I mean that seriously. So let's get into the exact protocol. Day 1 starts the moment you wake up tomorrow morning. Step 1, set your fixed wake time and hold it. Pick one time, 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m., 7 a.m., whatever works for your life. And here's the critical part. You hold that time regardless of how little you slept the night before. I know that sounds brutal, but this is the single most powerful circadian lever available to you, full stop. A consistent wake time anchors your entire sleep-wake cycle. Everything downstream, when you get tired, when melatonin kicks in, when you actually fall asleep, is calibrated from that one fixed point. Step 2, get outdoor sunlight within 30 minutes of waking. 10 minutes is enough. Just get outside, face toward the sky, no sunglasses. Andrew Huberman's research at Stanford shows that morning sunlight triggers a cortisol pulse, and that sounds bad, but it's actually exactly what you want. That morning cortisol spike is what sets the countdown timer for melatonin release roughly 12 to 16 hours later. Pin light in the morning equals darkness your brain craves at night. No morning light, your melatonin timing drifts, and you lie awake wondering why you can't fall asleep faster even when you're completely exhausted. Step 3, hard blue light cutoff at 9 p.m. No screens, no exceptions. Or at minimum, blue light blocking glasses on, every screen at its lowest brightness setting. This is not optional on days 1 and 2. Your brain needs that drop in artificial light to trigger the melatonin cascade that makes falling asleep feel effortless. Now, here's something I need to warn you about. Day 2 is going to feel harder than day 1. You'll be tired, maybe irritable. You might feel like the protocol is making things worse, but that discomfort, that's not failure. That's your circadian system recalibrating, proof that the reset is already working. Days 1 and 2 reset the clock. But if you stop here, it resets right back to chaos within 48 hours. What happens on day 3 is what actually makes the difference, and most people get it completely wrong. All right, you made it to day 3, and I want to acknowledge something real here. If you're feeling rough right now, tired, a little frustrated, maybe questioning whether this is actually working, that's completely normal. That's exactly where you're supposed to be, because day 3 is where the protocol gets harder, and also where it gets incredibly powerful. Let me explain what we're doing in phase 2, because this part is genuinely counterintuitive, and if I don't frame it correctly, you'll bail on it, and most people do. The core problem we're solving in days 3, 4, and 5 is this. Your brain has stopped associating your bed with sleep. Right now, your bed is associated with lying awake, with staring at the ceiling, with checking the time, with that low-level anxiety that creeps in the second your head hits the pillow. That's called conditioned arousal, and it's one of the most common reasons people can't fall asleep faster no matter how exhausted they are. We need to rewire that association completely. So here's what we're going to do, and I need you to trust me on this one. I know this sounds backwards, stay with me. For days 3, 4, and 5, you're going to compress your sleep window to exactly 7 hours. That means if your fixed wake time is 6:30 a.m., you are not getting into bed before 11:30 p.m. Not 11 p.m., not 11:15 p.m., 11:30 p.m. This is a concept borrowed from sleep restriction therapy, one of the most clinically validated tools in the entire field of sleep medicine. Here's the science behind it. Most people with disrupted sleep spend way too much time in bed relative to their actual sleep. 8 hours in bed, but only 5 hours of real sleep. That gap, it kills your sleep drive. Your sleep drive, technically called sleep pressure, is built up by adenosine, a chemical that accumulates the longer you stay awake. The stronger your sleep drive, the faster and deeper you fall asleep. By compressing your window to 7 hours, you're building that pressure deliberately. You're making sleep efficient again. Within 3 to 4 nights, your brain starts hitting the pillow and going out fast because it has no other option. The biggest mistake that kills phase 2, getting into bed before you're supposed to. I don't care how tired you feel at 10 p.m., do not get into bed early. That defeats the entire mechanism. Now, here's where we layer in the piece that makes this whole thing stick: the 90-minute wind-down protocol. Think of it this way. Your brain cannot switch from full operational mode to deep sleep like flipping a light switch. It needs a neurological and thermal runway. And most people skip that runway entirely, then wonder why they're still lying awake at midnight. Starting exactly 90 minutes before your target bedtime, you're going to run this exact sequence. First thing, dim every light in your house, not just the bedroom, every room you're in. Your brain is scanning its environment constantly, and overhead bright light tells your nervous system it's still midday. Drop those lights dramatically. Lamps only, night mode on everything. Second, drop your bedroom temperature to somewhere between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit. This is non-negotiable, and here's why. Your core body temperature needs to fall by about 1 to 3 degrees to initiate sleep onset. A cooler room accelerates that thermal drop. If your room is 74 degrees, your body is literally fighting physics trying to fall asleep. Third, 10 minutes of body scan or box breathing. Box breathing is simple. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest mode. It pulls you out of fight or flight and into a state where sleep is biologically possible. Fourth, 0 cognitively stimulating content in that 90-minute window. No news, no intense podcasts, no emails that are going to make your brain start problem solving. I'm serious about this one. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a real threat and a stressful Slack notification. Both trigger cortisol, both delay sleep. Let me give you a real example of why this works. I spoke with a guy, mid-30s, corporate finance, genuinely burnt out. He'd tried everything: melatonin, sleep tracking, the whole wellness routine. But he was still lying awake for 45 minutes every single night before finally dropping off. He implemented this wind-down window on night 1 of phase 2. By night 4, his sleep onset had dropped from 45 minutes to under 12. Not because he found some magic supplement, because he finally gave his brain the neurological runway it needed to actually do what it already knows how to do. That's the reality. Your brain knows how to fall asleep. You just have to stop getting in its way. So days, you made it to days 6 and 7. And I want you to stop for a second and actually appreciate that. Because most people quit on day 3. You didn't. And now we're doing something completely different in this final phase. We're not adding new protocols. We're building the architecture that makes everything you've done this week run automatically without you having to think about it. That's the whole point of phase 3. You stop relying on willpower. You start relying on structure. Let me walk you through 2 shifts that make that happen. The first one is called the morning anchor stack. Here's something most sleep advice completely ignores. Your morning behavior is the single biggest predictor of that night's sleep quality. What you do at 7 a.m. determines how easily you fall asleep at 11 p.m. Read that again because it matters. Sleep isn't just a nighttime event. It's a 24-hour biological system, and your morning is where that system either gets calibrated correctly or falls apart. So starting on day 6, you're going to lock in 3 non-negotiables in the first 60 minutes after waking. First, your fixed wake time, same time, every single day, including weekends. No negotiating with yourself. No, just 20 more minutes. Guard that wake time like it's a meeting you cannot miss, because it is. Second, outdoor sunlight within 30 minutes of waking. I've mentioned this before, but in phase 3, this stops being a tip and becomes an identity. It's just what you do now. Third, movement within that first 60 minutes. It doesn't have to be a workout. A 10-minute walk, light stretching, anything that elevates your heart rate slightly. Movement accelerates your cortisol peak, which sets the clock, deepens your sleep drive, and makes falling asleep faster that night dramatically more likely. Morning anchor, evening payoff, every single time. Now here's the second shift, and this one might surprise you. It's called the evening identity shift. Here's what I mean. Most people approach sleep like this: I need to try to sleep tonight. That framing is quietly killing your results. Because trying implies uncertainty. It implies failure is possible. Instead, starting on day 6, you adopt this frame. I am a person who protects their sleep. Now, before you roll your eyes, this isn't motivational fluff. There's actual science behind it. Research on behavioral identity, popularized by James Clear in Atomic Habits, shows that identity-based habits have 2 to 3 times higher long-term adherence than goal-based habits. When a behavior becomes part of who you are, not just something you're trying to do, it becomes nearly automatic. Your wind-down routine stops being a chore. It becomes something you protect. Let me make this tangible with a full day 7 protocol example so you can see exactly what this looks like in real life. 6:45 a.m. wake time, non-negotiable. 7:10 a.m. outside for sunlight and a 10-minute walk. No caffeine after 1 p.m. Seriously, none. 9 p.m. every light in your living space dims down dramatically, lamps only. Yes, this means your Netflix binge has a bedtime now. Turns out your sleep system does not care about cliffhangers. 9:30 p.m. wind down begins. No screens, no stimulating content, no emails. 10:30 p.m. in bed. And here's what happens. You're asleep within 15 minutes. Not because you're forcing it, but because your brain has received consistent, coherent signals all day long, and it finally knows exactly what to do. That's the system working. Now here's the reality check I want to leave you with. Day 7 is not the finish line. It's the launch pad. The protocol worked this week because you protected the structure. The moment you start making exceptions, sleeping in on weekends, staying up 2 hours late just this once, ditching the wind down because life got busy, the calibration starts drifting. Not overnight, but gradually. And before you know it, you're back at 2:47 a.m. staring at the ceiling, wondering what happened. So carry this one rule forward into everything. Guard your wake time like it's a meeting you cannot miss, because it is. Your circadian system does not care about your schedule. It only responds to consistency. Give it that, and it will give you exactly what you've been chasing this entire week: genuine, deep, restorative sleep every single night. You just committed to something most people never do. You stopped guessing and started building a real sleep system. Remember that. You're not someone with a sleep problem anymore. You're someone with a sleep system. Now I want to hear from you. Drop day 1 in the comments right now if you're starting tonight. Seriously, I read every single one, and that one comment might be the accountability that actually changes everything for you. If you want the full system, not just the reset, subscribe, because every week we add another layer. Next up, I'm breaking down the exact supplement stack, magnesium glycinate, dosing, timing, what's actually worth buying, and why it might be the missing piece your system needs. Better sleep isn't luck, it's a method. I'll see you in the next one.